stress, anxiety, depression, obesity is becoming a global epidemic. And everybody thought yoga was boring.
If I have to enter this world, what is the first thing that I need to learn?
Entry point into the world of yoga is to start. So my profile should look, how am I using aerial yoga to make people better?
What other opportunities could exist in the universe of yoga if I am looking to create a career in it?
It can also be an amazing corporate company who wants a full-time yoga teacher because they believe wellness is an integral part of their core values. What should I do to make a monetarily sustainable financial career through the practice of yoga? If that's the question,
that's the question.
The answer is
do you want to make a career in the world of yoga? Your ultimate playbook is here. I'm Shreyans Jain and welcome to The How, your guide to alternative careers. Today, we are meeting a celebrity yoga instructor, an author, an entrepreneur, the founder of Diva Yoga Studio, the modern yogi. Let's welcome Sarvesh Sashi.
what's happening? Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
Please. I want us to go back in time and actually let's begin at the place where you've started actually practicing yoga when you're like 6 years old. Number one, what was yoga for you practicing in the childhood like? And going from a student to an entrepreneur, what was that journey like in the evolution of yoga?
So I describe my life into two parts. One is a life before I was 17 years of age, and the other is a life after I was 17.
Right.
And before 17, I describe my life with the 4 A's: arrogance, attitude, anger, anxiety. So I was fortunate enough to have born in a well-off family. But as a 6-year-old child, like every Indian boy, I wanted to play cricket and I started playing cricket at the age of 6. My parents thought putting me into a yoga class will help me balance and focus better in the game. So I started yoga at the age of 6 with a teacher who came home and taught us Surya Namaskar, Pranayama, meditation, which is all that today's youngsters think that yoga is all about. Time went on. At 17, my dad took up this yoga session from this man who came from Haridwar. He had long hair, long beard, orange clothes.
Fit the stereotype.
But to my surprise, I had to start taking his sessions because dad couldn't complete his class because he was traveling or whatever reason. And he said, listen, I have 6-8 sessions left and I've paid upfront money. Why don't you just get done with it? So I went into class. For the first couple of months, I was still doing Surya Namaskar, Pranayama, meditation and all of that.
Right.
He started saying, listen, I see something in you. And I also started growing fond of him. He started giving me a lot of sadhanas. Sadhanas are basically discipline. Like I go on a keto for 21 days, not breaking it is a sadhana. So I've gone on 10, 11, 21 and 40 day sadhanas. So I've gone completely Maun Vrat for 40 days and stuff. There came a point when my Guruji said, listen, I started calling him Guru. And my Guruji said, listen, you're doing a fab job. I'm going to give you the 5 precepts of life. Will you follow it? So I asked him, what are these 5 precepts? He gave me these 5 precepts. And I thought all these 5 precepts are fairly easy to be followed for 40 days. And I rhetorically told him that I'll do it for 40 days. Right. He said, not 40 days, 7 years. So I was like, wow, this guy's actually telling me.
What are the 5 precepts?
So the first out of the 5 precepts, it's called the Panchsheel Palan, basically, in Sanskrit. The first one is no intoxication. So no alcohol, no smoking, and no meat. So I've never touched alcohol. I've never touched a cigarette. And I turned vegetarian where I was a hardcore meat eater. Second one was non-violence through actions, thoughts, and words. I don't swear. I don't use the F word. Third is no mental and physical stealing. Physical stealing is you physically steal. Mental stealing is, oh, Shreyans has a nice watch, I want to have it. Jealousy, greed, etc. Fourth is no lying. I can't even white lie. So if I'm late because I overslept, I'm late because I overslept and not because there was traffic on the road. Right. Fifth one was celibacy. And I think the audience that are going to be watching this and people who want to know about this, everybody knows what celibacy means. And I assumed it was for 40 days and it went on to become for 7 years. I was like, not sure that I can do it, but Guruji said, now you've promised, you have to do it. So 18 to 19 and a half, I was doing it to prove him wrong. After 19 and a half, it became a way of life. Life went on. At 21, I said, listen, there are 500 million people in India under the age group of 30.
Yeah.
Stress, anxiety, depression, obesity is becoming a global epidemic. And everybody thought yoga was boring. Can I make it cool by having the authenticity in place? I thought I could. So December 1st, 2013, we started off with our first location in Chennai.
If I have to enter this world, what is the first thing that I need to learn if I have 100 rupees, 1000 rupees, or 10,000 rupees?
Entry point into the world of yoga is to start the practice.
Right.
Most of these people have YouTube content, they have group classes, they have personal training, they have coming at home and training. So it really can depend.
Yeah.
So the first point is to start
Yeah.
in your most nearest surrounding.
Got it. So can you tell me, like, let's say I have to start, right? I need to go to my first class.
Yes.
Can you explain what this class needs to be? Let's say zero, no idea.
So I would recommend for you to choose a really good yoga coach and go to his or her Hatha Yoga practice to start with.
Hatha Yoga.
Hatha Yoga. Why? Fundamentally because it's a lot more easier on your body. It's the fundamental practice of yoga.
I want to understand resources. So resources are of two kinds. One is, of course, monetary, where I have to go to a class, so I may have to pay for this class. What would typically a Hatha Yoga class that I have to enter, what would a per class be? It would range.
It can go from 250 rupees a class to 2,500, 3,000 a class.
Got it.
In a group class. Personal training could be much higher,
Understood.
but it really depends.
As a beginner, how many of these classes would I need to
I'd
do?
say consistency for about anywhere between 8 to 12 months will help you. You will start improving every day.
Right. And do you have any recommendations, like people that you looked up to while, if you thought, like, from a YouTube point of view, if I was to look it up today, who would I go and watch content of? Because I'm so new to it, I am going to go to YouTube and I'm going to find somebody.
I'd say Alo Moves has a bunch of really nice teachers. Deepika Mehta is an amazing teacher.
Now I know where I'm starting. But I'm also thinking about career in this space, which means that now I have learned a little bit. I will also, I'm guessing, need to become an instructor. And there is a journey to becoming that.
So if you're specifically speaking about the business angle of yoga, right?
Yeah.
And I'll state it with a story so everybody watching here will have an idea.
Please.
And the best example in my life is my beloved sister.
Right.
Her name is Sarvesh Sashi, and I think she's probably going to become one of the world's best instructor, and I wish her well.
Incredible.
She started off yoga same time I did.
Right.
Which means if I was 6, she was 4.
Right.
There was a starting point. A couple of years ago, she was not in the best headspace. Right? For multiple reasons. She said, listen, I'm going to take off to Bali. So Madam has not done yoga for many, many years.
Right.
And I would like to believe, apart from the fact that she was physically flexible, she was starting at 0.
Right.
So what did she do? She straight from 0,
Yeah.
instead of going for this first hatha class, first
YouTube
etc., she went and did a 200-hour yoga teacher training course
Right. In Bali.
in Bali.
Right.
She went to Bali and did a yoga teacher training course.
Yeah.
She loved it so much. So after coming back, she started practicing. Whatever she learned became a daily practice.
Right.
After a while, she started taking a few classes twice a week, thrice a week in Chennai, where there was 1 student, 2 students, 5, 6, and so on. Then she went back to Bali to assist the teachers who are training others to become teachers.
Right.
She's is one of the most wanted teachers in Bali, in that particular location, to teach others. So today, she teaches students to build their practice. She also teaches students to become teachers.
Right.
So you have one who's gone from 0 to 1 with a YouTube class or a great physical class. You have one who's gone from almost 0 to a teacher training course, learned teacher training, practiced every day, now is becoming a teacher and is doing really well for herself. And
To do a teacher training course, how much would it typically cost an individual?
very different. Like it could range from 25, 30,000 rupees
Right.
to all the way up to 3.5, 4 lakhs.
Right. Are there teacher training courses in India that are popular that you are aware of? That are
Yeah, I think there are multiple institutes, multiple schools that are doing a great job. Like the Shivananda school in Kerala does great.
Right.
The Gurukul Kangdi school, the college, they do well.
Right.
Yoga Institute Santa Cruz do really well.
Let's assume that I complete that, right? Like how your sister came back and she was, or while she was in Bali, she was also taking a few sessions. I'm assuming that that's the logical next step, that you
Yeah, I
start
think-
doing a few sessions while you're doing your own practice.
I'd say that the ideal thing is, hey, do a teacher training course if
Yeah.
you're wanting to earn money out of it, right?
Yeah.
Let's very specifically speak about what should I do to make a monetarily sustainable financial career through the practice of yoga. If that's
Yes,
the question,
that's the question.
The answer is, hey, do a great teacher training course.
Yeah.
Start practicing on your own. Get great with your communication, conversational skills, teaching abilities, cueing abilities, so on. Start teaching somebody free, virtually free for a few months.
Right.
Get their feedback on video.
Right.
Build a strong social media profile. Start putting them out there. Then go to a company, and there are enough and more material resources out there that will help you understand how to create a simple landing page, website, etc. Create an ad with the videos and all of that. Run an ad. See how many people are paying for your service outside as well. Slowly start building your career like that.
Right.
The other way is go to a school and say, hey, can I teach your children for free?
Right.
Go to a apartment complex and say, hey, I see you have a studio. This is my name, Sarvesh. I've done teacher training from here. This is my profile. I would love to do a 1 month free workshop for you.
Make it an outcome based.
Make it an outcome based program.
Right.
Make it free. People will come. Or money back. That's another way people will come.
Yeah.
You'll have to start teaching, getting feedback, reviewing yourself, and then go and see what is my GTM.
Right.
Like, do I want to do privates a lot? How am I going to go get a lot of privates?
Yeah.
Do I want to do group classes a lot? In studio setups, how do I go do that?
Right.
Do I want corporate wellness a lot? How do I end up doing that? Then you end up building resources for yourself, earning a name, earning money, and then see whether you want to start a space of your own.
Right. Let's say that I'm doing this like it's in my first year. I'm now at a place where I am taking classes. I've also received feedback. I have now come to a place where I can
Start with personal training.
I would start with personal training. If I have started with
Only
personal
reason
training,
being because in a group of 6, you'll have 6 different kinds of people,
yeah,
6 different intensity levels.
yeah,
Unless you're really good at handling them through your communication, energy, etc.
right,
I personally wouldn't recommend a group class.
Got it.
Like my largest group class, guess how many people were there?
maybe say if it is a physical class, I would imagine say 50 people, and if it is like virtual, maybe 500 people. I don't know.
Okay, so my largest physical class is 2,200. My largest online session was 77,000.
What? Yeah, so that's hardcore. And I'm curious to know how you're playing that out, because I think 50 people itself sounds like a lot, especially in a studio setting.
So I would say start off
With a
small,
private
stroke to.
Understood. And could you also tell me that, like, if I'm doing private sessions, what would be okay for me to charge if I'm doing, let's say, in my neighborhood and I'm reaching out to somebody and
500 rupees a class.
500 rupees a class? Okay.
300 to 500 to start with. Again,
Yeah.
it really depends where you've learned from. It's also a game of branding, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fortunately or unfortunately, it's a game of branding.
Yeah.
It's a game of perception. It's a game
Yeah.
of relevance.
Right.
And it's about how many people want you.
Yeah, no, this is very powerful. So if I started out with, say, 300 to 500 rupees a class, and I was taking it for one person, maybe now I'm doing it with 2 or 3 people, I'm now sort of getting 1,000 or 1,500 rupees
Per class.
And I'm doing, how many would people typically be
12.
okay to do?
12 a month.
12 a month. Is there a reason for that number?
Just 3 days a week.
3 days a week. Okay, got it. So 12 days, I'm earning like, say,
18, 20,000 bucks.
Right, got it. Epic.
So if you spend 30,000 rupees on your course,
Yeah.
and you are smart at marketing, you can potentially get it back in your second month itself.
So this is when I'm doing private / a few classes. How do I go from the zone of what I currently run and what do I need to do from point 1, because I've gone from 0 to this point. From here, how do I get to building credibility in the business of being a yoga instructor?
So I put this whole, let's say, journey A to journey B, right? Journey A to what you're asking. Journey A is somebody who's charging 500 rupees. Journey B is somebody who's charging 10,000 rupees.
Right.
How do you go from point A to point B?
Yeah.
I would say the underlining factor of this whole line is the 3 Ds, which is dedication, discipline, and determination. Without these 3 Ds, you're not going anywhere. Number
Right.
1. These 3 Ds in 2 aspects. One, which is your practice.
Right.
Are you every day thinking of becoming a better teacher? So are you becoming better in your postures, in your breathing techniques, and so on? Also, are you being better at teaching them and imparting them?
Right.
Because not always a good player can be a good coach, right? And taking the analogy of cricket, there are many amazing cricketers who've not been great captains.
Yeah.
So it's very important that 1, you personally become better in your practice, and 2, imparting. Like, can I be better at communication?
Right.
Is my understanding ability of a crowd and a
Right.
group very good? Is my sensitivity nice? Do I know how to handle a large group class, say A to this, Y to that, B to this, etc.? Because you'll have a class of 20 people with 20 different ailments. Technical skill, imparting knowledge, and the second one is how are you actually putting it out there, which comes as the branding aspect. So your social media becomes very critical. What are you saying? And you'll have to also understand your niche. You cannot be, hey, I'm a yoga teacher.
Yeah.
You're then amongst X lakh yoga teachers.
Right.
You have to say, hey, Sarvesh is the best aerial yoga teacher that you can go to. I need to have a skill that is very specific, and I need to be a master at that. So my profile should look, how am I using aerial yoga to make people better?
Right.
I need to see tangible difference, either weight loss, flexibility. I call it the 3 R's. You need great reviews, you need great referrals, and you need great renewals if you want this business to go well.
This entire idea of establishing credibility is coming not just from your own practice, but other people telling you that your practice is amazing and other people should go and experience this. How do I get to the first?
Be amazing with your social content. That somebody notices you and reach out.
Yeah.
Cold reach out. Hi, this is my class. I would love to do a session with you.
What other opportunities could exist in the universe of yoga if I am looking to create a career in it?
So these are the following careers, right? So 1, you can be a freelance instructor.
Right.
Freelance instructor means what? You can go teach whoever you want to, wherever you want to, at your own will and wish, do whatever you'd like to do, Keeping anything in mind. You can teach at a home, at college, a school, a studio, or anything. It's freelance.
Yeah.
Income is not stable.
What are you defining as stability or instability? Like you could earn 20,000 rupees also, you could earn 1
2
lakh
lakhs
rupees also, or
you can earn
none.
nothing also.
Understood.
So, stability. So, freelance is option number 1. Option number 2 is being employed. Hey, there are these amazing yoga companies
Yeah.
where I can get employed as a yoga teacher.
Right.
These needn't just be yoga studios.
Yeah.
It can also be an amazing corporate company who wants a full-time yoga teacher because they believe wellness is an integral part of their core values.
And an entry point would be like, let's say that I get
35, 40?
35 or 40,000 rupees
For a
to be at a corporate.
At a corporate.
And at a studio,
I'd say 30,000.
yeah, a 30,000 would be a place where I could start.
And
then the more credibility and more people who are coming for my classes.
Up to a lakh. Up to a lakh very comfortably you can go.
So these are the two. What else?
So number 1 is freelancing. Number 2 is you're an employed yoga teacher.
Yeah.
In companies, studios, organizations, etc.
Yeah.
3 is you can start doing short retreats, right? Again, it falls under a part of freelancing in some sense, but
Sure.
you can do, hey, I'm going to do 1 retreat a month.
Yeah.
You go to a Rishikesh, tie up with a hotel, put a package together, and then figure out how you want to market that to the public, saying, hey, there's a 3-night, 4-day program in Rishikesh. It's X rupees or dollars or pounds or whatever.
Yeah.
And everything is included in it except for your flights.
Right.
Your stay is included. These are your practices. This is your food,
Yeah.
etc., etc. That's another way that you can do. Another career is if you become so good and you start a teacher training school yourself.
Right.
Like you invite people to your amazing school and say, hey, this is what I'm teaching. This is what I'm imparting. Once you go out of this, you can do the first 3 very easily.
Understood.
And 5th is, of course, you become an entrepreneur and start your own yoga studio as well.
Right. And if you are to start your own yoga studio, now this is a full trip of its own. This starting your own.
Yeah, I mean, it is exciting, but it's not difficult, right? First, if you're starting a yoga studio, there are a few steps. Number 1, first is location.
Yeah.
Have you identified a really good location where there are residents and there's enough population who are in your category of what are you going to charge, price, etc.? Are there enough people? After a location, you need only 1,200 to 1,500 square feet space. In this, you have 1 reception area, 1 big hall, 1 private room, and a changing room, and a washroom changing room setup.
Right.
It could cost you, if you can even do up this place for 12-15 lakhs, you can even do this place up for 35-40 lakhs, depending on how amazing you want the place to be. What are you using? What are things in it, etc. Then next is you hire. Usually, you typically hire 2 managers.
Right.
It's usually a 16-hour day, 6 to 9, so 15 hours. You have a 8-hour sort of a shift. You have 2 people working for you. You have a housekeeping. You have 2 instructors.
Yeah.
And if you are an instructor yourself, you employ only 1. As an entrepreneur, you don't take salary for the first few months.
Right.
Then you use the power of print, pamphlets, door-to-door, digital marketing, etc. Name your studio and a company a certain thing, specialize in a certain thing, and then invite people for that certain thing. Don't come and say, I'm a yoga studio, aake yoga seekh lo.
Let's say that I'm doing it I'm not doing it on the main road. When I'm starting out, I may not have the investments to be able to do it in a certain way.
In your top 6 cities, 1,000 square feet space,
Yeah.
Including everything,
Yeah.
it can cost between 1.5 lakhs to 4.5 lakhs.
From a rental point of view.
No, full cost.
But you'd also mentioned that to do up the space, I need like say
Running
10 to 12
cost.
lakhs.
So
okay,
so
running
you need,
cost.
Yeah. So you have a capital investment.
Yes. What would the capital investment be overall according to you before I
Between
start?
12 to 30.
Between 12 to 30. Okay, good. Now that I know that this is what I'm going to invest before I begin, I've got the second half, which is running cost per month, which would be anywhere between 1.5 to 4 lakhs. What is my benchmark of
You need
a successful yoga studio?
If it's 1.5 lakhs, you need to do 3 lakhs a month.
Understood.
If it's 4.5 lakhs, you need to do 8.5, 9 lakhs a month.
In terms of money that is coming back in, this is by people paying.
Memberships.
And these are
So you'll end up having people paying 1 month, 3 months, and 12 months.
Yeah.
60% of people pay for 12 months, 30% of people pay for 3 months, 10% people pay for 1 month.
Right.
This also will be dependent on how many years and what have you done your marketing plan as, what are your offers in the beginning, how are you charging in the beginning, are you credible enough that I will believe in you for 12 months on day one? All of that will come into conversation.
So a successful yoga studio would make about 3 lakh rupees a month?
If they're at 1.5 lakhs,
Yeah.
3 lakhs.
I'm trying to understand the profitability of a yoga studio.
A good yoga studio
Yeah.
should return its capital investment, which we call it ROC, return on capital, anywhere between 12 to 15 months.
Understood. That would be a good yoga studio. And to run a good yoga studio, how many students do I need per month?
A good yoga studio, if it's at 1.5 lakh rupees, you will need
1.5 lakh rupee rental.
No, all cost.
Right.
So 4 lakh rupees a month, if you're averagely charging 3,000 rupees a month, 2.5 to 3,000 rupees for unlimited classes.
Yeah.
3,000 should be 2,500 be raklo. You'll need to get 150 members a month, roughly. But I would look at it slightly differently.
Yeah.
I will say every month try and get 20 people to pay you for the year.
Understood. And why is that?
Easier to get 20 than 200.
I see. And 20 to pay for
20,000 rupees.
20,000 rupees.
Which is 4 lakhs.
A good benchmark would be
4 lakhs a month.
Run a 4 lakh rupee operation, but
you
also
you have to break even in the first 4 months.
Right. Very, very powerful. And operational excellence would be when you have one studio, can you run it making sure that the employees are happy?
No, can it do exactly amazing things by keeping some numerical targets?
Yeah.
Target, retention, referrals, renewal percentage, all of that. Can you do such a good job that you can take a 3-month break and not think about the business, and this business is still doing well? That means you've set a process that's working. Operational excellence is happening.
Right.
Start a second one, then do it for both. Start a third one, do it for 3. Start a fourth, do it for 4, and so on.
Right. And when does one know that you need it or you don't need it?
Depends on whether you want to scale or no. If you want to start 100 studios, then you start making a projection, right? I need 100 studios in 3 years means you may have to raise money.
Right.
Or you may have to do so well that you're generating free cash flow to start every studio after that.
Right. Can you explain what does success look like for a yoga studio?
Profitability for any business.
Yeah, absolutely. And what does that mean?
1 rupee you should bring home. I would say success will define in 3-4 parameters, right? Number 1, your return on capital of a yoga studio is within 12 to 15 months.
Right.
Your break even operationally month on month should happen ideally from month 1, if not worst case, month 3.
Right.
In the first year, you need to have 60% occupancy. Second year, you need to move to 75. Third year, it needs to be at 80, 85. Then at steady state, it should be at 80, 85 only. These are some numerical examples of a successful yoga business. And you need to have a sort of EBITDA of 25, 30% plus.
Got it.
Or more, actually.
Got it. Wow. If I am somebody who's joining newly, like for example, how you describe these short retreats, right? This is a lot of them are happening, but I also know that a lot of people want this. Because even the hospitality industry is booming. There is so much happening that hotels need this. Now, for example, it is an opportunity. Are there opportunities like this that you've noticed that you think if somebody looks at this and starts doing this seriously, there is a lot of money to be made?
Yeah, and so many opportunities, right? Like number 1, I believe every school should have yoga.
Right.
Right? Number 1. Number 2, I think every hotel chain, luxury, has a yoga studio. If you go to a Taj, and you go to 10 properties, all 10 will have yoga studios.
Right.
But can you tell me that at the Hatha Yoga class and all 10 are the same? No chance.
Right.
Because they're all coming from different places. There's no standardization.
Sure.
Number 3, there are so many apartments, builders who have apartments where so much of free space. What are they doing with it? I have no idea. yoga studios. We are sitting in one, 12 to 4 is empty. What's happening? Why are people not coming in this hour? I don't have an idea. So the opportunities in the wellness space is endless.
I'd love to understand if, let's say that Sarvesh is making 100 rupees. How much of that 100 rupees is coming from the studio or teaching, and how much of what are the different avenues of sources?
Zero.
Right.
Yeah, because it's one, I've not taken any money
Right.
for a class for 10 years, number
Right.
one. Otherwise, I used to get a salary of 75,000 rupees a month.
Right.
And my expenses are all, they're not, I mean, like I said, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything.
Right.
But whenever I feel like I want to do something, then I end up doing a brand deal, and they give me some money, and then I use that for a little bit more, my extended trip and travel. But otherwise, it's all. If you're a freelancer and you're earning 100 rupees,
Yeah.
your most money will potentially come from your personal training classes.
Right. So I would say, like, let's say 70 rupees of it would come from personal training.
No, if you're doing all,
Right.
let's just assume you're doing all. You're doing a retreat.
Yeah.
You're doing personal training.
Yeah.
You're doing your studio classes as well, right? And corporate wellness.
Yeah.
The most money-making opportunities are corporate wellness and personal training classes.
Right.
Retreats are not regular, and
Yeah.
it's not like every month sort of a thing.
Yeah.
If you're doing all four, then your personal training will be one, but your most stable will be if you're employed in a studio.
But if I'm doing all four, what would a typical breakup of 100 look like? When I say typical, I mean...
You can make it 25 into 4. It's completely your choice where you want to
I
put your
see.
effort in. So if you want to do retreats only once in 6 months,
Yeah.
so your pie will look very different for 5 months.
Fair enough.
But in your 6th month, your 90% of your income
Yeah.
could potentially be from your retreat.
Where do we go from here? If today Sarvesh has seen so many of these realities.
I will do a lot of things very differently to start with, right? One, I would not want to scale so soon, so fast. I would not have raised a lot of capital. I would not have raised it from a lot of people.
Were there any people that you worked with that you were very inspired by?
Jennifer Lopez.
Right.
She's my business partner. So I think she's been fantastic. But everybody who's invested has been great. Like everybody who's believed in me and invested has been great partners. I've learned only from them, right? I mean, situations make you understand people differently, and different situations make you understand the same person differently.
Beautiful. Wow. This was mind blasting.
No, thank you.
No, Sarvesh, listen, thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me, and kudos to you as well. In whatever you're doing, it's not easy.
Thank you, brother. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
Anytime, buddy.
This was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow, dude.